Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combination of business partnerships. As well as other couples, we will let you know of any useful business apps or websites out there we've discovered to help you with your business.
We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd love to meet you, so why not come along? The link to book is in the show notes. Today's guests are Sam and Matt of Madeby.Studio. Without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Welcome to today's In Business Talks 2 podcast. We've got with us Sam and Matt from Madeby.Studio. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. Nice to be on.
Welcome, guys. Good to see you both today. Yeah. So
Right.
shall we start by finding out a little bit about what you guys do? So tell us what you do.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm Sam. I'm the creative director here at Madeby.Studio. We're a digital-focused web agency and we focus on transforming digital performance through design. So we work with clients through healthcare, industrial and the education sector, trying to enhance that performance of their online presence in a nutshell.
Yeah, so pretty much Sam said everything there. So I'm the digital director. So I essentially kind of manage all the websites, web applications, like all the kind of digital stuff that we do at Madeby.Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, cool.
So it sounds like you've got different roles within the company.
Yeah, so it's one of those typical stories where we fell into these separate roles. So I'm the more the creative side now, Matt's the digital side. We had an idea it was going to be that from when we started, but I think we've been going just shy of 4 years now. Those roles have become a bit more prominent. We've learned who likes doing what and who doesn't like doing what, and then that's how I ended up structuring it. Really, yeah.
Cool.
I'm not sure we've decided whether we like our roles or not.
I don't like what you make me do. So what inspired you guys to start up your business then? What is it that whose idea was it?
Yeah, so I've always been kind of dabbling with designing a design agency since kind of my first or second year of university. And like my little project in my final year was like, I wonder if I can build like the basic infrastructure from a design studio while I was doing an internship at a design studio.
Right.
And I kind of like gathered all the information there and kind of did some experiments with live clients. And then we essentially me and Sam met in our final year of university. And we both had this idea that we're like, we both want to start a studio. And we worked on a project together, which actually went really well. And I'll let Sam talk about that a bit more because it was quite a funny one. And from there, we kind of just thought, well, we both have very good complementary skill sets. Obviously, Sam's creative side, I'm digital. So we might as well come together and just kind of go for it from there, really.
All right. So you both started straight from uni then, more or less. You didn't work for anyone else before. You just went straight for it, did you?
So we met on our course. We both studied graphic design at the University of Leeds. And then we both did placement years at uni where we worked in studios, but as part of the course, and we both stayed on there part-time for a little bit afterwards. But yeah, we hadn't actually been full-time employed anywhere. We just decided, let's give it a go. We were both freelancing already. We both wanted to have a go at setting up a studio. And then it was actually in our final year of uni, because we hadn't actually spoken before that. It was in the final year when we met, we got put into a group project together for a branding module. And we just got told to brand fish.
Right.
Yeah, no. Yeah, really insightful.
Is that dead fish or live fish?
Yeah. They just said anything you want with fish. So we came up with this idea for a fish and chip shop called the Mad Batter, and it was a bit Subway-esque where you could choose what fish you had, you choose the batter, you choose what chips you have and what sauce you want on it. It's kind of interesting. Did a really nice brand for it, put it out in the wild, we posted it on Instagram. It got picked up by a load of design blogs. And it was getting sent out. I think one of the blogs had about 200,000 people following it. And then we got a few messages off people because on there it said that we did a vegan fish and chips, which was tofu wrapped in seaweed. And we put the address was Headingley in Leeds for this fish and chip shop. And then we started getting a load of messages with people kicking off because they couldn't find it.
Oh dear.
It was at that moment where we thought, oh, people actually think the stuff we've done is real.
Yeah.
maybe we should set up the studio and actually do some real stuff.
Obviously, your marketing was really good.
Yeah. You didn't set up the fish and chip shop. That sounded like it was a good idea to me. Yeah.
Well, we've said multiple times we ought to finish the brand a little bit, create a website, and then sell
Yeah,
it.
Definitely.
Wow, interesting. Good start there, then. Good start.
Yeah.
An instant following. How good is that?
Not bad.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced then since you've started?
So because we started straight from university, was a lot of it was kind of just figuring out how we actually successfully run a business as a primary thing, because neither of us actually had kind of actual business experience, because we never learned that at university. We both did graphic design, so we both knew how to design, but we never actually knew how do we manage clients, how do we manage a team. So I think kind of the whole journey has just been one big challenge, and it always will be, because as we grow and scale the team and the studio, we've got new things to learn, and like the whole dynamic changes constantly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Flipping back to that, when I was on my placement year at uni and afterwards, I worked at a very small studio, and I was very hands-on with a lot of the client stuff and got a bit of experience through that, but nothing like what we wanted to have going into the actual business world. Yes, freelancing was nice, but it's very different to organising a team, project managing properly, then dealing with clients. Most of my role now is a lot of account management and client side. I don't tend to do loads of hands-on creative stuff anymore, which I do miss a bit.
Yeah, but you miss that.
But it's still more overlooking what we're doing and making sure that the creative side of what we're outputting is still on point, but not actually getting hands-on with the tools. So those changing roles is always quite a challenge to make sure that we know what we're doing with the different hats on.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it, when you're running a business, you start off with great ideas, but like you say, you don't know how to run a business. And it is a learning curve, and it will be probably for a long time, until
forever. I would have thought. Yes, you're always learning. Yeah, you never stop. You never stop learning. No, that's the thing. I mean, it's like they say, you don't know what you don't know, and if you might be brilliant at making widgets, but it's a whole different ballgame running a company, isn't it? And doing a business with all the things, all the financial aspects, all the marketing, all the social media, everything else that goes with this stuff. There's a lot behind it.
And like I say, in that transition from doing the creative work to overseeing it now, sometimes as a business owner, you don't want that. You want to stay doing the creative stuff. You want to be that person, in which case you have to get somebody else then to oversee you, don't you? And so you've got different roles and different dynamics.
Yes, it is a strange thing.
How many staff? I mean, have you got team members? Have you got?
Yeah, we're a team of 5 now.
So you've grown really quickly in those 4 years.
Yes, we're hoping to grow a little bit more soon. But yeah, at the minute, team of 5. So we have us two, a developer, designer, and marketing intern at the minute. So that's a new role in itself, because we've had graphic designers for 3 years now. Development role was a bit of a different one, because we've never had a developer or had to deal with the development pipeline as such. But they both fall into our categories almost. So design team is mine, development team is yours, but the marketing intern that's just come on, that's a completely separate role that's almost between the two. So trying to learn how not just us to manage people, but in the middle, how we can meet. And it's almost like Mary, who has a marketing intern, she's almost above us, because she's telling us what to do for the marketing, telling us what to do for LinkedIn. So it's this like weird pyramid trying to work everything out, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it's kind of designing the processes, like how do we make all these little kind of elements function together in like the most efficient way and provide most value.
It's getting those processes in place, isn't it? And then you know what you're doing.
And do you have a shared? What's the sort of vision for the business then? Do you have a shared vision, shared goal? What's the general idea? You want to become global, or get to 10 people and that's it, job done, and sell the business? What's your plan?
Yeah, there's all sorts of, has been thrown around at different points. I remember when we first started, we were like, right, we'll be a worldwide agency, we'll have a base in different continents, and we'll deliver work in 24 hours. But more recently, I think our whole mindset's changed towards what we want, like not just in business, but in life as well. And more recently, we've said we want to be probably 15 people in the team. Want to keep it quite close-knit, so everyone can still collaborate with each other, knows each other properly by name, and there's still that small feel around. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much aligned with kind of what our goals are and our vision, because we have a chat every single month where we kind of just run through both personal goals and business goals, and we're making sure that we're always kind of just following the same path. Because if we start to deviate and one person wants one thing but I want the other, that's when like friction becomes a problem, and we just work on preventing that ever happening, just so we're always working with a shared vision.
So how, like you say, how did you decide on those roles? Was it just a natural thing?
I think it started off as skill set, because when it was just the two of us working, it wasn't just websites at that point. We were doing all sorts of other stuff, but most of the graphic design side I was managing, and that was chatting a bit more to clients at the time as well. I think naturally, we've said before, I'm a bit more chatty and I'm happy talking to people and having meetings with people, whereas you're much more analytical, process driven, so that you've fallen into the internal world a little bit more.
Yeah, so my goal kind of at the start was always to get into like strategy and kind of business planning, because that's the stuff I love, like just looking at numbers, data, and like how do we get from this point to that point in a certain amount of steps. And that's just kind of what I love every single day. And obviously Sam just loves chatting all day.
Matt's basically saying I don't shut up. So.
We'll come to that.
We got that. Yeah, we got that. Yeah.
How do you think being in business has kind of affected? I mean, were you friends before you were in business together?
This is a weird one, and we always say we were never kind of close friends as such. We always say we're business partners first. We became friends after the business started almost. When we first started, we didn't.
Yeah, we only knew each for about a few months or 3 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we were like, let's start a business. And then we started to kind of properly get to know each other and then became friends. So we've always had this kind of mindset that the business comes first, like Sam mentioned, which does make it a bit easier, because if we knew each other 10 years beforehand and then you're having to make a business decision, there's a lot more of a kind of like an emotional and historical value in there, which makes the decisions harder. Whereas it's just kind of business first for us. Yeah.
Which it does sound a little bit ruthless, but I suppose it's because
if it works.
That was the relationship we had when we first started. Yeah. And obviously since then we've become really good friends and realised stuff outside of work together. But it's like, I think about my brother, he ran a business with his best friend from school. And then one of them wanted to finish it, the other one didn't, but felt bad, and it was just like
got messy. Yeah. So do you sort of like hold each other accountable then? I mean, do you have, you've got to do that, you've got to do that, and do you hold each other to account and sort of question, why haven't you done that? Have you done this? How does that work?
Matt's very good at that. That's very true, though. So it's part of the process, as Matt talks about, how building processes in studio to make sure it is always growing and we're doing what we want to do. Accountability is a huge part of that. Whereas I sometimes fall down the other nets of trying to get things done but going a long way about it, or trying to over please clients here and there. And it's like, well, have you got this done? This is the important thing we need to do right now. So it does work both ways. I feel like your processes are always on it.
Yeah, because I like kind of the way I work is very kind of restricted. I'm like, I want this done by this date, and like just get it done as most like in the most efficient way possible. So we built like a custom CRM, which is like very transparent about kind of this accountability as well. So rather than having to go like, oh, have you done this? You can now just look at the CRM like, oh, it's actually not done. The due date is on this, so I don't have to go to Sam and like, can we get this done by this date, and vice versa. Like we just know it's still going on because it's written down and it's not going to be forgotten.
Yeah. But that accountability is very good, because I need that, because sometimes I end up going off track. Or
that's me. That's me. Yeah.
Now it used to be that you'd kind of check up on it sometimes and be like, "You've not done that. Please can you do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." But now this CRM and this mad process machine thing that we've got going on, now I can see it all in black and white, what is and what isn't done, instead of Matt popping his head over a computer and letting me know. I get email notifications saying you've not done this. Not from Matt, automatically. They're all automated. Yeah. The processes are just great, but like I say, I need that, so it's very good for me.
And you find that in a lot of businesses, actually. A lot of people that we've chatted, you get like the somebody who's like the they're more focused on the processes and that sort of thing. And somebody's like, not the blue sky thing, but somebody who's a bit like me, away with the fairies sometimes. I'm the next shiny object, you know what I mean? Oh, this looks interesting. You got to sort of pull me back.
Yeah,
sometimes.
to like rein him in.
Yeah, because I just get distracted. It's yeah, and I think most businesses seem to have that type of relationship, which is good. It obviously works, doesn't it? Obviously works if you've got somebody who's different dynamic.
I do think you should. We spoke about it recently, I think, and celebrating the difference. And sometimes you can see that as clash of personalities here and there. And don't get me wrong, it sometimes happens. We've like said it to each other before, like just chill out or whatever. But with that difference, we need to celebrate it and use it more, because the way that we can both bounce off each other and find a middle point. And when we find that good middle point, that's when we start achieving growth normally.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So does that mean that you don't agree on everything?
Most of the time we do.
Yeah, I think if there's anything we don't agree on, we're very good at just kind of talking through it and just communicating and going, okay, what's the pros, what's the cons, which is the best decision for the business.
Yeah.
But I think we've always been good at that. There has been a period where we're just like, it's obviously not always smooth sailing, but we work through it and figure out a solution every single time.
The only time I think we've ever kind of stressed the relationship was when we overpromised some work. I say overpromised. We didn't overpromise it. We just kind of hit a few road bumps on the way, and it was a very tight deadline. But when we got to that point, it was a lot of late nights, 12-hour days, 7 days a week, and it was just the complete burnout of both of us. I think at that point, there was a bit of friction. But since then, we've put so many things in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. That was the one time that we've been a bit, right, we can't do this ever again because it will be the end of the business. So
that's it. You learn by your mistakes, don't you? And
yeah, I think it was this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, about that. It's kind of this time last year, feathering on to kind of February, March. But I think that comes down to like, you've got to kind of look after yourself to look after someone else as well. And like both of us were kind of like at peak stress, so we couldn't support one another at the same time. Now we're kind of like really prioritizing like mental health and well-being. It's just so much easier because we can just be transparent. Like if one of us is kind of struggling, to say we're struggling today, and then the other person like, okay, what can I do to help you? It's just as simple as that, just basic communication, which goes so far.
Goes a long way, doesn't it, if you get it right? And it's good that you got that relationship as well, that you can ask each other for help, isn't it? That's useful, rather than if you're not competing all the time or whatever. If you think, look, I'm struggling with this, can you help me? Then it does make it easier, doesn't it? It does make it easier.
So has the business evolved since you started? Did you say? Did you say you started off doing all sorts of stuff? No, have you focused a bit?
It's changed quite a bit. So when we first started, we said, right, we'll be this new full service agency that can do everything. So we built our website. We filled it with stock images of like 50-person agencies. And we were like, we'll get all these big clients in no time, and we'll do everything from web design, branding, we'll do flyers, posters, get them all printed for everyone. We were offering print service as well. And it wasn't too bad. We didn't enjoy the print media side as much, and we just kind of had to manage it. We didn't have in-house printing skills, so we had to manage it elsewhere. But then when COVID hit 8 months, I think, into our business journey, which is a great spanner in the works. But everyone stopped printing everything because no one was seeing anyone. And then we did a bit of a pivot to say, right, let's just focus on digital because everyone needs digital right now. And when we did that, we realised, we like this. Let's carry on with this. And since then, we've been going more and more digital. So recently, probably in the last 6 months, saying our main focus is websites and web applications with some digital strategy sprinkled in here and there.
So would you say that COVID then sort of in a way helped you refocus your business? Has it sort of helped you realign it? Has it taken you a different direction or?
Yeah, I think we would have naturally gone down this kind of digital route eventually, but I think COVID just did fast track it because we kind of proved that it's what we're really good at. And a lot of people approached us with like these solutions where it would only work in person. And our problem was like, how do we make this solution that is physical cards into a web application? And we kind of did all the strategy behind that. And we both really enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. Just basically just fast tracked it.
It gave us some really interesting projects as well to create a foundation from to build that digital side. So one of them was a course for a company called Medical Aid International, and they used to go out and train biomedical engineers in low to middle income countries, which is an amazing job. However, they couldn't fly out there and they couldn't deliver the training. So we created this 6-hour animated video course.
Wow.
Which was basically my life for about 3 months during COVID. And then they were still able to deliver the training course online on an online platform. So things like that, and the one that you did.
Yeah, so that was for a company called My Leadership Strengths. So you had essentially kind of a leadership analysis toolkit where you kind of figure out your strengths and weaknesses, but you had these physical paper cards. Obviously, if in COVID you couldn't go and see people, and he was like, we need to pivot really fast where we can offer this product through a website or web application. So we built this kind of web app where people go in and kind of fill in the questionnaire, and it'll send them out a PDF report, and essentially kind of automated the core product of his business. And now that's kind of scaling. He's working with quite a few large companies. I'm pretty sure like the NHS as well is one of his key clients. So really well for him.
Brilliant. So what is, I mean, obviously a couple of successes there. Is there anything that's a really a standout one apart from those two? Is something that you've done and think, wow, that went really well? I mean, obviously you don't have to name names, but something that you did, that you worked on, that, you know, seemed to go amazingly well.
I'd say that one where we nearly had a breakdown. Yeah, with that one, it was one of our bigger clients, and we got that project through the door, and it was a company called My Cosmetics, and it was a very fun project to work on. If it was a few more weeks longer and we project planned it a little bit better. Yeah. But then the results that we got afterwards and the partnership we've had with them has been really good. The final product's been amazing in helping get more things under. What about you?
I think there's one which is a bit of a random project, because there's a client called Mrs. Activity, and she essentially produces these kind of paper resources to learn phonics. But then she wanted to transition into digital, and she approached us saying, "Can you build me some games?" And we hadn't ever built games, but I've always wanted to. Yeah. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it and figure it out." And we built all these kind of like unicorns shooting rainbows and dinosaurs eating sausages. It helps, like, really weird, but it helps like all these kids learn kind of phonics and stuff like that. And essentially one of the feedbacks from one of the teachers is that for the first time ever, one of their students with ASD actually focused and was engaging in the classroom activities. Wow. Which for a personal kind of thing is like really good to see, because it's actually genuinely having a benefit on kind of the education of children. And she's recently just been approved as a Department for Education supplier in phonics teaching as well. So I think it's only about 100 schools in the UK, or 100 products in the UK that are actually in there, from what I know of as well.
Well, that's good. That's when you've had a real impact on on something like that on a youngster's life. Yeah, that's good. A couple of good ones there. I've got a question now, and it is one of my favourites. Who shall I start with first? Shall we? I'd say we'll do Matt first, and we'll come back to Sam. So, Matt, you get the first go at this one. What is Sam's most annoying habit at work? Keep it clean, obviously.
Sounds
keep it
like
clean.
He knows already.
I don't think there really is.
Oh, you've got to have one. You've got to.
There's only one thing where it's like someone just go on a random tangent. So he has like a kind of he sees something, he's like, oh, it's like that shiny object thing. And he'll just go on this tangent for like 20 minutes and go, oh, I've seen this. I'm like, okay, where did this come from? It's just like going down this rabbit hole.
I feel your pain, Matt. I feel your pain.
I think that's about it.
Some of them are sometimes interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it's interesting. I wouldn't call it really annoying. It's just like a quirk.
Yeah. I feel for you there.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
What about you, Sam? Same question.
So I feel like I wind him up in the same level as he winds me up on this. So Matt likes to sit in the dark all the time. It's not as bad in the new office. We've got bigger windows, but every time I come in, no lights are on. To be fair, this morning I was nice and I turned them on briefly and then put them back off because I felt bad. But I walk in, switch the lights on, and he'll look over his computer at me like, what are you doing? I was like, it's light, it's daytime, Matt.
I suppose at least you're saving energy, I suppose, aren't you?
Yeah.
Saving electric, yeah, I suppose.
That's
Yeah.
what I said this morning. I was like, I'm saving this money. So,
Oh, well, I can think of worse habits.
Yeah,
so,
that's not too bad. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not too bad. That.
So, if you could go back to the beginning, sort of 4 years ago, would you do it all again?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's still fun every day. I'm not sure if I'd change anything, in all honesty. I think it's going quite well. The first few years went better than we expected. When we first started, we wrote up a business plan and we set targets in there, and we beat those for the first 3 years by quite a bit. So that was all positive. I'd probably say if we had to do it all again, be a bit more ambitious at first, chat to people a little bit more. But again, that's part of it. I feel like at first we didn't do that, and we've learned that as we've gone on. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's experience, isn't it? Experience, yeah.
I feel like we've got a good peer network of other agencies around us now, maybe reaching out to other agencies a little bit sooner. Some of the most useful tips and tricks we've got are other agency owners that we've got in touch with more recently. So maybe doing that earlier. But again, imposter syndrome when we were younger, I just don't think we ever would have dreamt of asking someone when we were young.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because like every single experience we've had, even though we started with like trying to do everything, including print and all that, has basically helped us identify what we're really good at and what we shouldn't be doing. So everything is kind of like
it's led you to this point, hasn't it? So whatever you've done has led you to this point, which it's not a bad thing. And you've still got years left, you know. You're not old codgers like we are.
Yeah.
How old are you? What, 20 odd? Early 20s?
How old am I?
You're 27.
There you go.
I'm 25.
You're a bit older than I thought.
You look like 16 and 17 to me, so there you go.
So
I'll take that.
you're
Stop being ID. That's how old I am.
Have you?
So to finish with it, what advice would you give to anybody, to aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself? What advice, if you could give them one piece of advice, what might that be?
I think for me, it would be chat to everyone and tell everyone what you want to do, because it's surprising when you start out how many people are just so supportive and like kind of provided the information and the direction that you need to go in. I think it's one of our kind of mistakes. It's not really a mistake because we had COVID, so it was a bit more difficult to reach out to people. But as soon as that was over and went to networking events and now creating this network of other agencies, all we did was just message them on LinkedIn just saying, we've got this problem, can we have a chat? And everyone's like, yeah, come in. And it's just been so helpful just to build this network and just have conversations. It just kind of eases that imposter syndrome as well.
Yeah. It is surprising, isn't it, how if you ask for help, people are more than willing to give it. You always imagine they're not, but they are, aren't they? Even if sort of competition in some ways, yeah
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would you say, Sam?
I said this the other day and I got a giggle out of it, but be a sponge.
Yeah.
I was chatting I was at something at the University of Leeds, like this entrepreneur thing. I was just saying, be a sponge as much as you can. Absorb, keep taking things in, listen to what people have to say. And the more you absorb, the more you'll realise it helps you on the way to becoming what you want to be. And you'll never know when these little nuggets of information that you take in will be really helpful. And that's one thing with in a few kind of business startup networks and things through university, and Santander do one that we've been part of for a few years. And everyone's going on the journeys at a bit of a similar level in these networks, and they'll say a problem that they've had, and then a couple of months later you'll be like, oh, we've got that exact same problem. And even if you don't remember exactly what they said, just reach out to them and ask them again. I think, again, it goes back to networking and asking for help. It's such an important thing that people shouldn't really be scared of.
Yeah, that's been a good chat. So if anyone does want to get in touch with you guys, then what's the best way to contact you and find out more about what you do?
So I think LinkedIn is probably very good. We're both very active on LinkedIn. So Sam Taylor, have a search that, and Madeby.Studio.
And Matt Wheeler.
And feel free to follow us on Twitter at Madeby.Studio. Facebook, we don't really do very well.
No, we're not big fans of Facebook now.
And then Instagram, maybe a bit more of the design side stuff. We're trying to get a bit more on Instagram. We've got TikTok made recently, so if you're TikToking, Madeby.Studio, you can watch us doing some axe throwing. I think was our first video on there the other day.
Not in the office, we hope.
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, we'll put all those links in the show notes. so people can get in touch if they want to. And it's been really lovely chatting to you and finding out about your business journey, and long may it continue.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been really good to have a chat.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. It's been fun.
Okay,
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And now we come to the knowledge share as promised in the first part of our podcast. So, what's the knowledge share for this week, Tracy?
This week we've got slidescarnival.com, which is a free templates and Google Slides themes for your presentations. It's easy to use, no registration or download limits.
Well, sounds like a good share. Thank you.
It is.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode. We hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. We'd love to see you at one of our networking events, so be sure to check out our website for details. If you'd like to learn more about networking, why not take a look at our networking know-how courses designed to help you improve your networking skills.
We also have a series of books available on Amazon, such as How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills, 52 Tips to Help You with Your Networking. We've got our Notably Networking One-to-One Notebook, which is a place where you can keep all the notes from those follow-up one-to-ones. And not forgetting our 90 Days to Your Success Journal, where you can plan, set and plot the activities that you'll take to achieve your goals.
We hope you'll join us again next time, and don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, we really appreciate it, and until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.